Hi dears, today we can discuss with the AC bridges. In the previous classes or in the previous studies, you have discussed or studied about the DC bridges. No? In that cases, we have used the Kirchhoff laws and Weiston's bridge balancing condition to solve the DC network. That can be applied in the case of AC bridges also. Only the exemption is that the impedances are replacing the pure ohmic resistances in case of AC bridges. So, a driving frequency, audio frequency is applied here as an external driving frequency is provided using an audio frequency oscillator, and four impedances are connected. Pure resistance are replaced by impedances here, and a detector is placed to measure the minimum sound. Where the minimum sound will be obtained when the B and D are at the balanced condition. That is, a detector or headphone is placed to check when it is at the balanced condition. The balanced condition is that the B and D are at balanced condition. The detector will be having the minimum sound. So, the alternating EMF produced at the points B and D will be having same magnitude and direction when it is in that balanced condition. At that condition, we can say Z1 by Z2 will be equal to Z3 by Z4, which is the balancing condition. By using this theory, we can explain the bridges, AC bridges also. So, the Kirchhoff laws and balancing condition of Weiston's bridge, which we used in DC networks, also can be applicable in case of the AC bridges. Remember one thing, the pure ohmic resistance are replaced by impedances. So, using this balancing condition of solving the AC bridges, we can find out the inductance or capacitance which are connected in this AC bridges. The first AC bridge which we are going to discuss now is Anderson's bridge. Anderson bridge is used to measure the inductance of a coil which is connected in that bridge. So, here we are to measure the inductance of L which is connected in this bridge. Here we have four resistances in this branch and one more resistance here. That is P, Q, R are the fixed resistances, and the small r and S are variable resistances. And the capacitance C is connected in this, and L is the inductance which is to be measured. And a detector is placed to measure or verify the balancing condition. When it is obtaining as the minimum sound in the headphone or the detector, it will be considered as the balanced condition at B and D. So, we are just naming this loop as A, B, C, D, E. And E is the and AC is current AC frequency is obtained here, and a current I is passing through this. Now we can distribute the current across this bridge. That is, the current passing through these three can be represented as I1, I2 and I3. I1, I2 and I3. Now, here the current will be passing along this direction as I2. As there is no components, only detector is here, the current direction will be along this. Okay, so the I2 is passing along this, and in this arm, the total current will be I1 plus I2, as I1 is coming from here and I2 is coming from here. We are telling this using the Kirchhoff current law. Okay, now the I3 is passing through this, and it will be passing in this way. That is, here will be I3. In this arm CD, the I3 is passing along this direction. So, at the point C, from here I1 plus I2 is coming, and here I3 is coming. So, here the overall current will be I1 plus I2 plus I3. That is equal to I itself. So, I is splitted as I1, I2, I3, and here the I2 is passing here, and I1 and I2 join to I1 plus I2, and here I3 is passing through this arm, and at C it will be rejoining as I1 plus I2 plus I3, which is equal to I. Okay. So now we can consider the three loops, that is A, B, C, D, A, first one, and after that A, B, E, A, and the third one A, E, D, A. In such a way, we can solve the AC bridge to measure Anderson bridge to measure the inductance of this coil. One more thing to remember is that the balancing condition can be obtained by varying the resistances R and S, which are already variable resistances in this bridge. So the balancing condition is obtained across the detector by varying R and S. Now apply the Kirchhoff voltage law. Apply Kirchhoff voltage law to loop A, B, C, D, A. Okay. Apply Kirchhoff voltage law to A, B, C, D, A. Okay. Now it will be equal to voltage law, the current into corresponding resistance, that is I1 into P, and in this AB, it's finished. Now BC. BC, I1 plus I2 into Q, I1 plus I2 into Q. Now CD, A, B, C, D, that is the I3 is along this direction, but we are coming in this direction. Now it will be negative. I3 into J omega L plus S, where J omega L is the resistance effect or impedance effect across the inductance. And in this arm also I3 is negative, minus I3 into R equal to 0. As the Kirchhoff voltage law in the loop A, B, C, D, A. So I1 into P plus I1 plus I2 into Q minus I3 into J omega L plus S minus I3 into R. Okay, now I am going to rearrange this. That is I1 into P plus Q plus I2 into Q is equal to I3 into J omega L plus R plus S. J omega L plus R plus S. Okay, that is, now I am going to write the expression for I3 from this. I3 is equal to I1 into P plus Q plus I2Q divided by R plus S plus J omega L, and give it as equation number 1. So now we can apply the Kirchhoff voltage law to closed loop A, B, E, A, that is A, B, E, A. We can start from A. It is I1 into P, I1 into P, and B, E, that is minus of I2 into R, and here it is also opposite direction of I2 we are coming, that is I2 is passing along this direction and the closed loop is A, B, E, A. So minus I2 and the capacitor effect by J omega C is equal to 0. That is I1P is equal to I2 into R plus 1 by J omega C. I1P is equal to I2 into R plus 1 by J omega C. This is also given as equation number 2. Also apply the Kirchhoff voltage law to the loop AEDA. That is AEDA. When we pass from AE, it is equal to I2 by J omega C, and across the detector at the balancing condition there will be no current flow, and in this direction minus I3R equal to 0. That is I2 by J omega C is equal to I3R. Give it as equation number 3. Now I am going to substitute this I3 from this, that is equation 1 in 3. So I am repeating from equation 3 I2 by j omega c is equal to I3R. From equation 1, I3 will be equal to I1 into P plus Q plus I2Q divided by R plus S plus j omega L into R. That is I3 into R. We have substituted equation 1 in 3. So, I am going to rearrange it as, here it is j omega L. Now, I am going to rearrange I2 into R plus S plus j omega L divided by j omega C and cross multiplying this R is equal to I1 into P plus Q plus I2 into Q. Okay. Now I am going to take this I2 into the LHS. That is I2 into R plus S plus j omega L divided by j omega C R minus of Q is equal to I1 into P plus Q. Okay. Now we got a relation such as I2 into a particular term is equal to I1 into P plus Q. Now you just give this as equation number 4 and compare this equation with equation 2. In this equation 2 also there is I2 in one side and I1 in the opposite side. So we can divide the equation 4 by 2. That is I2 into R plus S plus j omega L by j omega C R minus Q divided by I2 into R plus 1 by j omega C is equal to I1 into P plus Q divided by I1 into P. Here the I1 is common here, so we can cancel, and the I2 also got cancelled. Okay. Now we can rearrange it as, cross multiply these two, P into R plus S plus j omega L minus j omega C into QR divided by j omega C R is equal to R plus 1 by j omega C into P plus Q. Okay. And then I am going to multiply with this P, that is PR plus PS plus j omega PL minus PQ into j omega CR divided by j omega CR is equal to j omega C into small r plus 1 by j omega C into P plus Q. Denominator, here the j omega C and the j omega C can be cancelled. On the remaining term is R. So, I am going to take this R into this side. So, it will be equal to j omega C R plus 1 into PR plus QR. Now, we can expand the RHS also. This is equal to j omega CR into PR plus PR plus j omega CR into QR plus QR. Now we just look at the LHS and RHS. There is a PR common at the LHS and RHS, so we can cancel this term and this term. I have rewritten that equation after cancelling the PR on both sides. Now look at this equation. There is a real part at LHS and RHS and an imaginary part at LHS and RHS. And this is equation number 5. Now I am going to compare the real parts at both LHS and RHS. Just rearrange this equation. We get it as P by Q is equal to R by S, which is a condition. Now similarly, when we rearrange or compare the imaginary part of this equation 5 we get the expression to find out the inductance of the coil. That's equal to PL minus PQCR is equal to CRPR plus CRQR. Now I'm going to rearrange this as PL only on the LHS and PQCR plus CRPR plus CRQR. From this, L is equal to dividing by P, the remaining will be QCR plus CRR plus CRRQ by P. That's equal to CR into Q plus R plus RQ by P. That's equal to CR into Q plus R into 1 plus Q by P. And we know P by Q is equal to R by S, which implies Q by P is equal to S by R. So that we can rearrange it as Q by P is equal to S by R. L is equal to CR into Q plus R into 1 plus S by R. Then we can take the LCM, that is CR into Q plus R into R plus S by R. This is equal to CR into QR plus R into R plus S divided by R, so that these two R's can be cancelled. And the remaining is L is equal to C into QR plus R into R plus S. In the given AC bridge, that is in the Anderson bridge, we know P, Q, R are the given resistances and small r and capital S, which are the varying resistances to get the balanced condition in the detector, and PQ are the fixed resistances. By knowing these components, the capacitance and the resistances and the quantity of the variable resistance which we have applied in the circuit, we can easily find out the expression for the inductance. L is equal to C into QR plus R into R plus S. That is the method to find out the inductance of a coil using the Anderson's bridge.